Hi everyone and welcome to Meet the Member, and this week we're getting to know more about Ruth Bradstreet, who is Director at Edelweiss in the UK. Thanks for joining us, Ruth.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Our first question is, can you please tell us a bit about your role? So just sum it up for us.
Well, yeah. So the Edelweiss is a product really of Above the Treeline, the company, which is a US-based company, and we've done some business in the UK over the years. We have some client publishers here, some booksellers that use our system here, but we hadn't really had a presence until last year. So my job basically was I was in the US and I came over to the UK, which is actually my homeland. I'm from Scotland originally, so it was also my opportunity to come back home from the States, and started up basically Edelweiss UK. There's two of us now. I have somebody down in Norwich who works with me. But yeah, so essentially my role is to get this going in the UK and in Europe as well. We also have a team of people who are partners, essentially two teams, one in France and one in Germany. So I'm working with them as well as working on the UK. And so I spend a lot of time talking to publishers and trying to see how we can move things forward with our platform here.
Brilliant. And can you tell us a bit about your journey into your role now?
Wow, my journey into this role. Well, like I said, I was with Above the Treeline in the US, and I was with the company there for about 14 years or something like that, 13 years. And prior to that, I worked for Ingram Book Company for 10 years, doing various things. At first, I was a buyer, and then I worked on the technical side. And prior to that, so I've been sort of in the bookselling world, bookselling, publishing, and technology for a long time. And so prior to working for Ingram, I worked for a point of sale system out in the Bay Area, San Francisco. I did technical support and technical writing and a few things there. And prior to that, I used to manage an independent bookshop. So that's kind of going backwards to the very beginning. And I managed an independent bookshop, which I love doing. But at the time was a very busy shop that had high turnover and low technology. So I got very interested in how to use technology to make bookselling easier, efficient, and to help people spend less time reordering backlist and talking to reps, and a bit more time actually selling books and merchandising and doing the kinds of things that are actually way more fun. So it goes back a long time.
So interesting. I love how you've had lots of experience in the book industry, but in so many different roles and sort of management roles as well. So you've been managing sort of people from the beginning with books, but in a bookshop. So I really like that, and how technology weaves in. So that's really interesting. So another question I have for you is, why did you join Book Machine, and what do you hope to learn, and who do you hope to meet?
Well, I joined Book Machine because I don't know how I heard about it. And then I think Laura actually maybe reached out to us, to somebody in the US who passed that back on to me. And I was curious, I looked it up and I thought, oh, this is a really cool idea. And I've been telling people about it, actually, our company and elsewhere, like, oh, this is a nice idea, like started off as kind of casual networking and turned it into a business. So talking to her, I thought, well, this is something I should be involved with. I mean, one of the challenges I have had moving back here after so long abroad, and sort of fitting myself into the bookselling and publishing, ecosystem here, has been just getting to know people, basically. So I thought, well, this is a great way to meet people, even though it was already, in COVID times when we made that connection. In some ways, meeting people virtually, but one of the nice things about that too, actually, is I'm in Scotland, so going to meetings in London, I could have done that sometimes because I used to go down to London all the time, like at least once a month, twice a month, to see publishers, but couldn't really just go to a meeting in London on a whim. Basically, it had to be fairly well organized and coordinated with other meetings I was having. So in that way, it was quite serendipitous, I think, to find each other.
Brilliant. And my last question for you is, what are you working on at the moment and what excites you about it?
Well, what am I working on? Well, being just basically two of us, of course, we're supported by the US. They're the ones that are doing all the development, the coding, and customer support, and they have, you know, tons of things keeping them busy there because our system, Edelweiss, is ubiquitous in the States. It's basically the platform that publishers use for selling books within the business, so B2B platform, and booksellers use for buying, and there's lots of aspects to that. We've added on marketing and all kinds of things. So they're busy, and we're kind of trying to get things started, but so a little bit like a startup, but with the support of a bigger organization. So that means that I do a lot of everything, really. But so in addition to sort of network talking to publishers and supporting some of our new clients, getting on board, is we've been working a lot with booksellers. So we have a growing number of booksellers actually in France as well as the UK that have been coming onto our analytics platform, which is part of Edelweiss and is a point of sale. We pull point of sale data and put it together so that people can kind of see what's happening in indies. This is just for indies essentially. So, or at least this particular feature, there's a lot more to Edelweiss, so that they can see what's selling in other shops, see if they're missing something, kind of just have a bit more information and not be working in a vacuum as to book selling. And something that we, or at least in the US, we were working on right when COVID hit was sort of an extension to that program, which we call Edelweiss 360 or Indie 360, which takes some of that information, like what you've been selling, and the analytics tool is a very graphical thing. So you go in there, you see covers of books, and you see kind of your sales and a graph, and you see all kinds of cool looking stuff. So we thought it would be really nice to use more of that information in conjunction with who's buying your books. So we're already pulling this point of sale data from independent bookshops. So we thought, well, we could also pull their loyalty program data. So which of their customers are buying which books, and then give them a tool for email marketing, essentially. So you could go in there and say, I've got these customers who bought history books in the last month, or these customers have bought this particular author, or these customers haven't bought anything for a long time. You could really easily sort of segment with the tools, segment your and target your customers, and at the same time very easily populate an email with all the metadata, the covers and all that stuff of the books that you want to include in the email without any cutting and pasting and all that kind of stuff. And that tool could recommend things. So it could say, okay, well, you want to send things to the people that bought history books. Here are the people that bought history books. Here are some history books that you have on your shelves right now because we know what you have. Or here are the history books that you've been selling super well. Or here are the history books that your customers have, your staff have written reviews or shelf talkers for. And you can very easily, in 5 minutes, put together a very targeted email. So that was something that we were developing, testing in the States. And when COVID hit, we thought, this is something that could be really useful for booksellers. Now, when everybody's scrambling to try and figure out how to sell books online, so that customers would get this email, it could link back to anything. It could link back to a web page if the bookstore has a web page, but it also could just show a particular book on the web page, and you could purchase it. But it also could just link to a form that says, okay, I'm interested in this book, and it could just get sent to you as an email. So kind of depending on the systems the store or the shop already has. So we rolled that out, made it free and available to anybody, any indie bookshops in the States and in the UK. So we've had quite an uptake of people starting to use it in the UK. And so that's been what we've been excited about. There's all kinds of things to add on to that. We're adding an e-commerce piece to that, meaning that somebody getting this email, a bookstore customer getting this email, could, instead of just clicking on it and saying, please, send me the book and it going back to you, they could also just pay for it. And this will be completely tied into the bookseller's shop, not into any other affiliate or anything like that, or to us taking a piece of it. It's just purely a potential way to do e-commerce from an email and to send people to kind of a mobile type site where they could purchase. So that part is sort of in testing, the future part, but the email sending is there now. So that's what we've been having fun with. Also been excited to work with some of the publishers I've been signing up. It's been really good. We've had kind of a flurry of especially art house type publishers like Thames and Hudson, Abrams and Chronicle, the distributors in the UK, Hardy Grant, and a few others. So that's been really, really encouraging. We're finding that what we do with Edelweiss, for better or for worse, is can support remote selling. So it's not, it's a tool where people can generate content, publishers can sort of put together a presentation, send it to a bookshop, museum, chain, whoever. And normally you could do that and then go and visit them and have this presentation ready or have it had looked at ahead of time. But now when people are selling remotely, it's an easier way to do that. So you could present online and so on. So it's been kind of fun to see people taking that on and finding that we're able to contribute. So to sort of tie that back to the efficiency of like improving efficiency, that's really, again, it's sort of just a passion of mine that book selling, even if it's book selling from a publisher to a bookstore, it should be efficient and it should make the ordering process easy. There shouldn't be paperwork involved, and it doesn't take away at all from the books or from talking about books. In fact, I think it should add to it because it ultimately saves time for everybody. Anyway, so it's exciting to me to see things kind of taking off a bit here, and the Bookseller India 360 program resonating and helping some bookstores get extra business. That's kind of what it's all about, really, for me.
Amazing. It's great to hear that, it's been taking off and you're doing really well. It's a bit of good news.
Yes.
It's great to have. So thank you very much for answering all my questions. It was really nice to get to know more about you and about Edelweiss as well. It just sounds great. I would be all over that as a bookseller. So we hope to connect with you on the community very soon. Thanks so much.
Yeah, hope so. Right. Well, thank you.